Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome to my Pokemon Sun and Moon, my Pokemon gym. And this is a response to Bird Keeper Toby. I am aware that his video was a response to some other gentleman, but I do not know the gentleman myself. So then, seeing the video, I was thinking long and hard on it, like, what number am I going to be, what the puzzle's going to be, the Pokemon, what type I'm going to have, which coincides with the Pokemon, but still, you get the idea. And during that time, I was thinking, oh my, what this seems a little bland, what else should I have? And me being myself, I wanted to add a bit of story. A bit of purpose, shall we say. So, before we get into the story part, me being me, let's get into the basic details. I am going to have the water typing. My gym is going to be number 4. And because we're number 4, we're going to have 4 trainers within. Now, before we get into that, let me just say the Pokemon. Now, I'm well aware that some of these Pokemon evolve at 40, but let's face it, bloody what's his face's Pidgeotto didn't evolve, wasn't at level 18, it was level 9. So yeah, that just go. So yeah, we're going to have 4 trainers, my trainer subordinates, and the Pokemon that they shall wield are Jellicent, Caracosta, Kabutops, and Omistar. Now, before I get into the details of why that is, Jellicent does seem like the odd one out, doesn't she? But, he, she, but I'll get to my madness in a moment. Now then, let's get to the puzzle. The puzzle of the gym will have the trainer go on in, and they will be placed onto a boat. And their mission is to, obviously, defeat the trainers to get the meat. And as they defeat the trainers, they will be elevated by the water. And the boat that they'll be on will be slightly broken, and they'll be set on a timer. The trainers have about 5 to 7 minutes to reach me. The timer does not continue during the Pokemon battles, to be a little bit fair, because basically the boat is sinking at the same time. That's why there's a timer, and you have to maneuver the boat as well to reach these trainers. And yeah, once you defeat the trainers, you will be elevated up, and then you'll have to find the other trainer. And higher you go to the 4 layers of the trainers, and then obviously the 4th will be the final one before they reach the 5th one, which is me. And each layer the trainer goes, they will encounter some obstacles, like some debris, rocks, etc. Like, they think that they'll have to go the right side of the circle, but when they go to the right side of the circle, they will see that there are rocks blocking their path, so they'll have to make a quick turnaround, obviously decreasing their time even further. So yeah, I am such a bugger when it comes down to that, isn't it? Now then, why did I choose those Pokemon? Why isn't Jellicent the odd one out when it comes to those Pokemon? Well, this is where it comes down to the backstory. The gym leader, me, is 21. He has been the gym leader for about 7 years now. But prior to obviously becoming a gym leader, his father was the gym leader. And obviously they had a habit of, going out and fishing for new aquatic Pokemon, finding new sea creatures to, befriend and all that kind of stuff. There's a term for that. I don't want to say aquamarines, because I don't even think that's a term. But let's just call water Pokemon enthusiasts. So yeah, everything was as normal. But at one point during one of their trips, a storm picked up. And of course, like, you know, they were going to get out of the storm. But during this time, there was a thunderbolt hit them. Not a literal, well, not the Pokemon attack, the actual thing coming down. The thunderbolt hit them, and it hit the it hit the boat, and they survived, but parts of the boat were destroyed. Not enough to make it, you know, instantly capsize, just enough to give it about 5 or 7 minutes. But they're so far out, they didn't have enough time to make it out to land. So, the dad, obviously concerned for his son, he called out, you know, his Pokemon, and for argument's sake, let's say, Mantine. He was about to get on the son, but in the process, a Gyarados came up, and it was chasing a what's the Pokemon's name? I'm trying to remember it. Lantern, that's the name of the Pokemon. The Gyarados was chasing a Lantern for reasons that obviously we don't know. And in seeing that, you know, the Lantern was obviously, you know, like, frustrated and afraid of being chased like that, the dad knew that it was going to do something pretty dangerous. So the dad quickly pulled his son off of the off the Mantine, and put him back onto the boat, but in the process he flipped over. And in doing so, he landed on the Lantern, which in turn scared it enough to use its discharge, and killing him in the process. Yes. Very dark. And because of this, the Gyarados used Dragon Rage, and the boat was pushed off in the explosion, and he was knocked out, the son. Then, waking up, he had a bit of scars and burn marks all over his body, and slight gouges from fragments of the boat were embedded into his flesh on the left arm. So yeah, the story now, that's it. He wakes up, finding out that, you know, his dad's dead because he saw it, crying. So yeah. Now, back to the present day. The reason why his subordinates have those Pokemon is of twofold. One, because it's a representation of death, and two, it's because he wants to find not only living Pokemon but deceased Pokemon. Hence, Caracosta, Kabutops, and Omastar. That is why Jellicent is the random link in that regard, but being a ghost-type Pokemon, it does fit. So yeah, after going through all that, after basically, in a sense, reliving the Gymleader's trauma to a fault, you come up and you see the scarred Gymleader. You're a little bit surprised, but he's just like, most trainers are like that when they see me, but don't worry. I'm not afraid to show off my body or anything like that. Now then, his Pokemon are Seismitoad and Lapras and Jellicent. Now then, Lapras will be the starting Pokemon to, like, you know, throw off the grass-type wielders. So they'll be like, oh god, Lapras, an ice type? What are we going to do? And Lapras will have the moves. Ice Beam. What's the other word? Perish Song. Attract. And Psychic. The reason why it has Psychic is just like, a bit of a beatdown move because it's special attack. Ice Beam, of course, it's for the grass type that will come out. Perish Song is just to annoy the trainer, of course. Like, they either keep their Pokemon out or switch out. Of course, like, if they send out an electric type Pokemon, that will be pretty redundant. But with Attract, it will give them more of a leeway. With Lapras being girl, and in my experience, I normally wield more boys than I do girls. I'm lucky to get 2 girls on my team. I know the ratio is 50-50 for some, but damn, it feels like 100. But yeah, then with Attract and Perish Song activated, they're forced to, like, bring their Pokemon back, and then in turn, if Lapras uses either Ice Beam or Psychic, that Pokemon then will be dealt some damage. Now then, pretty strong starter compared to the second, but yeah, my team is all about, annoying people. So yeah, once Lapras is defeated, we then move on to Jellicent or Seismitoad, depending on what was actually brought out first. But for argument's sake, let's just say it was a grass type. So we're going to go to Jellicent. And Jellicent will have the moves Toxic, Water Pulse, Ominous Wind, and Will-O-Wisp. The reason for those attacks, obviously, is, yes, Jellicent is the weak link of my team to a major degree. But I don't want the people challenging me to think that Jellicent is a pushover. Will-O-Wisp is obviously there to get the burn off. Toxic is obviously there to get the poison. Like, you just have a choice between the two. And Water Pulse having, AM chance to confuse my foe, and Ominous Wind is basically for that, common attack, because grass types will be affected by that. Virtually any Pokemon will be affected by that, unless, they're not very affected to ghost attacks, and I think that's Dark. But yeah, But yeah, while Jellicent does have the annoying attacks, Ominous Wind and Toxic don't really do that much damage to a fault, but it is that scare factor that will do it. Yes, Jellicent is quite slow, but it has quite a bit of HP, and its special defense is up to snuff to a fault. So it's going to be like, the lucky thing, like, am I going to get a crit on this, and so on and so forth. Like, if I don't, then I'll get Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, or so on and so forth, because that's basically the purpose of it all. So yeah, after Jellicent is defeated, we then move on to the ace of the team, Seismitoad. Now then, why is Seismitoad the ace? Well, it's water ground. It's basically defiant against the thing that killed his father and the thing that basically did this to his body. Yes, it was Gyarados, but Lantern was the instigator of it all, even though Jellicent, Lantern was the innocent party. Now then, what is going to be Seismitoad's moves? Now, I was debating whether or not I should have Earthquake, but for a 4th gym, well then again, I do have some annoying moves. But for a 4th gym, it seems pretty mean to have this as a move. So I thought I'd go ahead and go with Bulldoze. Now that seems pretty redundant to have Bulldoze, I know. But I wanted to give... How should I put this? I wanted to give him something that would rival them, even though he doesn't need them to be rival too, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a double-edged sword to a fault. Like, I'd rather need it than not have it than... No, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, you know? That's the mindset for this. And I was actually going to be a little bit of a dick and add Earth Power, but I was like, no. So yeah. While he can't really rival grass types to a fault, I wanted to keep the attacks, at least the Bulldoze, in the 60 bracket, so I could justify giving him Poison Jab, which could rival the grass types, unless obviously you're a Bulbasaur or a Weeping Bell or whichever one has the poison typing. But, you know, Earth Power can stand against... Well, Earth Power... Bulldoze can stand against it. But, yeah, I'd rather... It's more common that he's obviously going to be faced with at least a pure grass type to a fault. So, yeah. And my final attacks will be Supersonic and Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam is basically for that water typing. And Supersonic is pretty simple. Just to annoy the people to give that bit of an edge, since, you know, 2 degree size of a toad isn't really the strategy type Pokemon. It's basically, you know, like my powerhouse. He's just there to, like, you know, deal a damage to the remaining grass types and electric types. If there's obviously, you know, one that doesn't have that typing, then Supersonic is basically there for, you know, the insurance, and he does have, you know, basically some good common attacks if they are anything besides that he's weak against too. So yeah. Now then, finally, the TM that shall be the reward will be Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam, yes. Going back in the day where it used to be a Bubble Beam. That's basically for the nostalgia type thing for it all. I was debating whether or not I should give Ice Beam or Toxic. I was debating whether I should add them, but I was just like, no, let's just stick to a water move and let's just go back to the beginning of where, you know, having Bubble Beam was like, oh, the icing on the cake for Misty. But yeah, that was my gym. Tell me what you think about it. Let me know in the comments what your gym would be, what Pokemon you would have, your reasoning, and so on and so forth. Or, like I did with... to Bird Keeper Toby's, you make a video in response to me, and so on, or him if that tickles your fancy. So yeah, now's my gym. Hope you enjoyed it. If you tell me if it'll be annoying, tell me. And do you think that Jellicent is a good midway, and do you think Toxic and Will-O-Wisp will be, you know, a bit of a helpful thing? So yeah, good day.